Hey everyone, welcome back to Hoopers Nation, your top destination for NBA basketball content. Once again, it's almost that time of year we all love, watching NBA basketball on Christmas. This year will be much different, however, as Christmas games will either be the season opener or the second game of the season for every one of the teams playing. Unlike previous seasons when the regular season started about 2 months before Christmas, this year's unusual circumstances pushed opening night to December 22nd. But these circumstances won't make this year's NBA Christmas games any less enjoyable. You know what would make them less enjoyable though? Those t-shirt jerseys. Never bring those back. In this video, we'll take a look back at the best Christmas performances by players in NBA history, and preview some of the top matchups from this year's Christmas games. But before we do, please make sure to leave a like on this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on Hoopers Nation post notifications for more NBA content. Number 5. Kyrie Irving in 2018. As much as you may think there's some recency bias involved with this one, Kyrie Irving's 2018 Christmas game is here because we considered multiple factors to rank the top Christmas performances ever. The factors include the stat line, the opponent, the winning team, and the context of the game. By any measure, Irving's 2018 Christmas game has to rank among the top performances in holiday history. The historic rivalry between the Boston Celtics and the Philadelphia 76ers dates back to a couple of decades, but the latest chapter in their story started when the Celtics beat the Sixers in the 2018 Eastern Conference semifinals, in which Boston made quick work of Philly in just 5 games. The NBA gave the Sixers a chance for retribution by scheduling a 2018 opening night matchup between both teams, but the Celtics once again prevailed. The two teams would once again meet that Christmas, but Philadelphia's front office had recently made a huge addition to the roster in the form of Jimmy Butler that drastically changed the landscape of the team's rivalry. Still, Butler's arrival wasn't enough for the 76ers to beat the Celtics, as Boston won 121-114 in an overtime thriller. Kyrie Irving shone bright that night, scoring 40 points and adding a rare 10 rebounds, all while shooting 17 for 33 from the field, good for 51.5% and an impressive 5 for 10 on three-pointers. Kyrie made a game-tying jump shot over Jimmy Butler that forced the overtime period, and Irving then went on to make 2 key three-pointers in overtime to seal the deal. Sadly for Celtics fans, Kyrie's tenure there didn't last much longer, but at least the city was able to witness a Christmas miracle courtesy of Uncle Drew. Number 4. Scottie Pippen in 1994. Many people wondered how the Chicago Bulls would look after Michael Jordan's first retirement at the end of the 1993 season. All eyes were particularly focused on the all-star forward Scottie Pippen. Fans questioned whether Pippen's success was mostly thanks to Jordan or if Scottie was actually able to lead a winning team by himself. It's safe to say that Pippen more than proved capable of doing that on the Christmas of 1994. In an overtime thriller, Pippen's Bulls defeated the New York Knicks 107-104. Chicago did it despite being notably short on talent and also held on despite Patrick Ewing's 30-point, 13-rebound game. Pippen finished the night with 36 points, 16 rebounds, and 5 steals. But perhaps the most impressive stat of this performance, and the reason it ranks as an all-time great Christmas game, is the fact Scottie Pippen played all 53 minutes of that game. That's the 48 regulation minutes plus the 5 overtime minutes. And no, we're not rounding 52 minutes and 32 seconds to 53. Pippen wasn't subbed out of the court all game long. He proved to be the ultimate Iron Man, scoring all 7 of the Bulls' overtime points and recording 2 clutch blocks on the last-second shot attempts by the Knicks to give his team the hard-fought victory. Talk about leading by example. Number 3. Wilt Chamberlain in 1961. Now, we all know Wilt Chamberlain might be the most dominating force in the history of basketball just off his insane stats. It's crazy to think how statistically dominant Will was for his time, considering most of the stats we know today didn't even exist back in his playing days. This didn't stop Chamberlain from frequently stuffing the few stat categories in the box score, and one of his many impressive stat lines came in the Christmas of 1961. While playing for the then Philadelphia Warriors in a Christmas matchup against the New York Knicks, Chamberlain scored 59 points, 6 assists, and an NBA Christmas Day record of 36 rebounds, a feat that will most likely never be beaten. Perhaps the only reason why this performance isn't the best in NBA Christmas history is due to the fact these impressive stats were somehow not enough for Wilt's Warriors to beat the Knicks. New York got away with a double overtime victory, winning 136-135. Still, Wilt deserves major props for setting the Christmas rebound record. He also set the record for the most points scored on a Christmas game that night, which stood for 23 years before Bernard King scored 60 points in the Christmas of 1984. Number 2. Tracy McGrady, 2003. T-Mac is one of the most prolific NBA Christmas scorers of all time. He has the highest scoring average on Christmas Day, with an average of 43.3 points, albeit on only 3 appearances. One of those high-scoring performances came in 2003, when McGrady set his sights on spoiling LeBron James's NBA Christmas debut. The King was absolutely brilliant in his first ever Christmas game, but T-Mac slightly outshined him and got his team the W. McGrady's Magic beat LeBron's Cavs 113-101 in, you guessed it, yet another overtime battle. T-Mac scored 41 points, 11 assists, 8 rebounds, and 3 steals on 15 for 29 shooting from the field and 4 for 9 from beyond the three-point arc. He also scored or assisted on 12 out of the Magic's 14 overtime points, proving to be the difference maker that night. "He's not 19, can't possibly be," McGrady joked, referring to James after the game. When you have a guy like LeBron coming into town with all the hype around him, everybody's going to be tuned in and want to see the outcome. You have no choice but to get yourself ready to play. It was McGrady's way to compliment the young LeBron. This would only be the first of many more Christmas games to come for James, who according to us also has another one of the best performances ever on Christmas night. Number 1, LeBron James in 2010. This might be an underrated all-time great Christmas performance given the game's end result, but LeBron James put on an absolute clinic in his first Christmas game as a member of the Miami Heat back in 2010. Many people around the NBA expected that in the 2011 finals, we'd finally get the highly anticipated NBA Finals matchup between Kobe and LeBron. As such, the league made sure to give us a preview of that potential finals series on Christmas Day. James dominated the reigning and defending NBA champions to the tune of 27 points, 11 rebounds, 10 assists, and 4 steals on a very efficient 8 for 14 from the field, including 5 for 6 and 3-pointers. Most importantly, LeBron led the Heat to a blowout victory over the Lakers, winning 96-80. Unfortunately, we never got a chance to watch the rematch in the NBA Finals, but I'm sure all of us would have loved to see those two legends go at it in basketball's grandest stage. That day, LeBron became the 4th player in NBA history with a triple-double on a Christmas game. The group would eventually be joined by Russell Westbrook in 2013 and Draymond Green in 2017. As for this year, LeBron comes closer to making history in NBA Christmas games. James will be participating in his 15th Christmas game, which is second behind the fellow Laker and late-great Kobe Bryant, who had 16 total Christmas appearances. James is also looking for his 10th Christmas victory. Assuming his Lakers can beat Luka Doncic and the Dallas Mavericks this year, LeBron would tie Dwayne Wade as the player with the most Christmas wins in NBA history. But can the Lakers overcome the red-hot Mavs? The only thing missing from Christmas games this year will be the energy of NBA fans in the arenas that makes these games that much more enjoyable. But the excitement and competitiveness that we all love from NBA Christmas matchups will still be felt. Which player do you think has the best Christmas performance in NBA history? Make sure to comment your thoughts down below, as well as leaving a like on the video and subscribing to the channel. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.